Yeah, just wanted to share a little bit about how I get my influence. Okay, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I devote myself to my God. I offer praise, I offer joy, and I most importantly, I offer intercession for other people. I feel that that is important. One of the most precious things any soul has ever done for me was a girl that told me one time that she prayed for me. I had almost died, and I was very close to death, and I should have died. Actually, I had a breathing tube down my throat, and this girl, days later after I've recovered, she came to me and she said, hey, I want to let you know I prayed for you. And that immediately just cut me down. I never had anybody say anything for me, ever pray for me, let alone, you know, say they were praying for me or, whatever. It just wasn't something that I was used to. And it really struck me. And it cut me deep. And I told her that's the most beautiful thing that anybody's ever done for me. Because the prayer of somebody else, especially another believer, will really, really strengthen you and heal you on many different levels. Many different levels. This is what we talk about when we say the water and bread of life and the rivers of life, life-giving waters. We are mostly all made up of water. We live on a water planet. We are water beings. We are supposed to be like water, which means, where the water of life can flow freely. And not poisoned water, not corrupt water. We're talking about pure water. We're talking about crystallized water, right? We're talking about crystallized water. We are electromagnetic beings. We're water beings magnetized, okay? So, in a sense that the water, most people have done experiments that have proven, hey, when you talk to water, polite, kindly, how you would talk to your mother, okay? If you talk to water this way, it reacts just like a plant reacts. And just like physical beings that we are will react, when you do this experiment with water, it tends to react and it enjoys being talked to because it holds memory. It holds memory. And this is where the rivers of life are, because me and my friend were talking today about how, the 153 fish, Jesus had told Peter, hey, cast your net upon the right side of the boat. And the right side we had spoken, and I told her, I think the right side, is a symbol for, not only the wheat and the tares, but also where God's people sit, to on the other side to where maybe the unchosen, soulless people sit. The ones that have not strove to perfect their being. The ones that have, they spent their time ridiculing God, persecuting God, blaming God, things that have all of which I've done myself. But it's important for me not to get wrapped up in it. When you wrap yourself up in the wrong things and you enter into that lower hell, that we're talking about, that lower hell realm, it just means you have gotten off your path, you have fallen victim again to your old ways, and repeated what we call the reincarnation process, which is a discussion for another time. But I just want to say that, this proves when we get back on track and we are loved by our ancestors and we follow what's inside of us and in us, it comes through us, and we get back on track and we realize again, we recognize again, because it's so easy to forget in this world and in this life. Being wrapped up in so many different things that the world demands of you. One thing that was one of the biggest things for me was not to chase money, not to devote my time to money, but to devote myself to other things, good things, things that are of the Spirit. Yes, the Spirit. Everything is of the Spirit, and we are nothing without Spirit. So we got to recognize that we are compassed about by such a great cloud of witnesses. That we are just, we got to lay aside the things that weigh us down and the sins that cause us to enter into these lower realms, this sick spiral mind. That the mind that wants you to seek material things. That's one of the biggest things I learned not to seek, is material possessions. Oh, you see that guy, he got a nice car. Hey, I need a nice car. I would love a nice car. Do I beg God for it, or do I what do you want to call it? Like, what's the word I'm trying to think? Geez, I can't think of this word. But it's something that I don't do. I don't seek material possessions because I want them. I don't seek material possessions because somebody else is making me jealous and causing me to think that's what are these things about. I say to myself, well, these aren't the everlasting things. Hey, these aren't even the things that even last a little bit. I've had things and material things, and they've gone right out the window, and I didn't respect them and I didn't appreciate them, and they were going to go to somebody else anyways. They were going to be taken from me anyways. I do think, you should live a very disciplined life here. Because when we cross over to the other side, those things that we thought meant something, like the physical things, material things, well, it turns out they mean nothing. They mean nothing at all. You see, I crossed the bitter sea. And you say, Michael, what are you talking about, the bitter sea? Well, you don't know, but you will know, what I'm talking about. And you didn't have to drink from that cup of bitterness. Most people don't, because they don't care to. But any good thing, just like you have to go through the dragon to get the gold, through the fire to be tested, to withstand the fire that purifies. That's not an easy thing. That is a very hard thing. It's like, you now step over across the sea, you drink from that cup, and then things aren't so bad after a while. And then you realize what's important. I saw, some of my old neighbors today, and I got to see her, her two sons, who I love and who I miss, she's like, why haven't you come around, Mike? And I'm like, well, I didn't think you guys really wanted anything to do with me because of who I was, years ago, like, you never know. And they're like, oh, no, the love is still there. The love is fresh. The life-giving water has brought me over to this point to regain my friendship, rekindle my relationship with these two boys and, their parents, and whom I'm very close to, and I love and honor, their children. and animals and dog and cats and you know uh, it's just a beautiful thing whenever you realize, oh well, things aren't what they were you know thought to be, but no, things were just a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. That's why it's so very important to communicate in this world. Without communication, proper communication, education, things like that, we enter into that death and hell realm, you know. And what Jesus meant by what does it gain for a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Well, you could be dead, but still alive in this world. That's what not a lot of people realize. So I opened up that door. I went through that door. I crossed over that sea. I crossed over completely. Like I told you, the name Hebrew means to cross over. Okay? Everybody has to cross over at some point. There comes a time in life where you are going to be met with two different options. One leads to life, one leads to death. Choose life. Choose the one that leads to life. And that is the one that is death, essentially. It's a paradox. I was the first one to wake up, my brother had told me, in 26,000 years. That's not a lie, that's just the truth. That's all I can tell you is just the truth. My brother told me I was the first one to wake up, which people call resurrect or ascend. I was the actual first one to awake. 26,000 years. And in this, I had to figure out a lot of things that I'm still figuring out. And one of them is how to learn what it means to be of a team. Because I still want to hold on to my individuality. I don't want, because I don't want people taking credit for things that aren't theirs. And it is my prayer and wish that as a non-violent Aldebaran, Riskian, reptilian, whatever you want to say, Anunnaki, I'm all of it. I'm all of it. I became everything. I became that water. I became that bread. I am that bread. I offer that wine every single day, every single morning. That's why we bless God Most High and the highest of high. L-E-N-L-E-N-L. Right? So it is my goal and my prayer for you not to get caught up in these worldly things like this warmongering that's going on, things like that. Hey, you want to know how you can achieve peace in the real... Trump seems to think that he's a peacemaker. He's not a peacemaker. How you make peace is you make peace with God one-on-one on your own time. Not for the world to see. Because the world sees quite a lot. But the world doesn't see everything that really is and that goes on. And it is my prayer today that you consider these things and not what another nation or man or religion or pastor or priest or so-called prophet, soothsayer, seer, witch, wizard, you name it, warlock, whatever you want to say. Try to be a man that is honorable, a man that follows his own path, but recognizes the path that God had laid out for him to begin with, and to walk the straight and narrow. Remember, the first Christians were called Essenes or Nazarenes. It means followers of Yahweh. The way. The only way. The way through the door. And I stand by that door. And I am that bridge. And the reason why you're seeing things go on is because men are following a script like a movie. Like a movie. And hey, this place you judge yourself. And this place God offers to you to walk freely, naked, but clothed in righteousness. Naked, but clothed in righteousness. It's an interesting thing. It's a paradox. It's kind of like how life after death is. The death is in the life, and there is no life in death. But life after death, there is life, but just not the same. Take care.